date, we are going to take a look at the valve and bolt assembly, or the piston assembly in the IntruBuster Gen 2, and we're going to take it out. I know we already did this once. We're going to do it again, but what we're going to do is we're also going to remove the valve and bolt assembly from the X-68, the Pistelle X-68. We're going to do a little stare and compare, a little side-by-side action, and take a look at the designs and you know, kind of just look and see at, you know, discuss what's different between the two and what's common. And that's what we're going to do here. And on this episode of Tech Talk. All right. So let's start off by removing with our 4mm Allen key, let's remove the back cap, the rear cap, and firing pin from the IntruBuster Gen 2. All right, that should be loose. All right, and there is our rear cap, or back cap, and pin. Put this aside over here. Okay, and going off screen over here to my right, where I have the Pistelle. Well, I'm going to remove the rear ASA, the back cap and pin that came with the came from Mercury Rise when I bought the X-68. This was only supposed to be for CO2. It was what was the word they used? Well, anyways, it was optimized, I think was the word they used. Optimized, yes. Optimized for CO2. It when I first got it, it had a very, very small hole in the pin, and that's pretty much how they optimized it. Since then, I've drilled it out to use it with HBA, and I drilled some additional holes in it to allow more air volume to come through. Now I'm not quite sure it works too well on CO2, but that remains to be seen. So, but anyways, that is the back cap that I'm using on my X-68, my Stormtrooper build. We'll put that off to the side. Again, I am suffering from allergies this time of year, and life living with a German Shepherd will do that for you as well. So what we're going to do, I guess what we'll do is we'll take the Pistelle valve and bolt assembly out first, and I'll put it over here on the mat since you can't really observe that, and then I'll remove the one from the IntruBuster Gen 2. So bear with me a minute, folks. Let me go ahead and pull this out, and we'll get it to where the camera can pick it up. And here we have the X-68, Pistelle X-68 valve and bolt assembly. Okay. This is the part right here. I always forget what they call this part, this cap. I'm going to call it, tonight I'm going to call it the valve cap, just this way everybody's on the same page. That may not be what they call it, but since it's part of the valve and it looks like a cap, this is the one that's got that hidden O-ring inside that I replaced. I actually had a nick in my O-ring, my original one, which was causing a leak for me. Now it's operating pretty much leak-free. So we're going to call that the valve cap. Again, probably not what they call it, may not be what you call it, but this way we're all on the same page. That's what I'm calling it. Okay? So there's that assembly. Now let's take out the assembly for the IntruBuster, which likes to get stuck in there a little bit. need something. Oh yeah, that's what I used last time. Allen key, because I don't want to bugger up any of these aluminum threads. I can't imagine it would take too much to damage those, so you probably want to be careful for that. I think I can pull it out this way without... I know I used something like this last time. It was a smaller one. There we go. All right, that worked to really release the spring. Again, you don't have to do the trigger on this, but it's kind of force of habit going back in. So once you kind of work that out carefully, it comes out most of the way. You can continue to work it out, work it loose. There we go. There we go. All right. That's that. Okay, so here is the IntruBuster Generation 2's bolt on my left, which on your screen is on the right, and on the screen on the right side, excuse me, on the left side, my right, here is the Pistelle X-68 bolt. Okay, let's move the IntruBuster out of the way here. Okay, so doing our stare and compare here, guys. All right, we're going to try to keep this video short too. I know the video I did with the what's behind the clamshell video, I was a little long-winded. I had to get for gab like I usually do, so please forgive me for that. I think I even mentioned in that video that you can speed it up if you want and watch it a little faster. Anyways, so first thing I want to do is let's take the bolt spring off. Okay, here's again, your right, my left is the IntruBuster. We don't want to mix these things up. My right, your left is the X-68. Okay, you ain't gonna mix these two up if for no other reason. Right out of the gate, you notice something that one's got and the other one doesn't have, right? One's got an O-ring at the tip of the bolt, right, to help with sealing, and the other one, no O-ring. Besides that, the material, this looks like it's definitely better material. This steel definitely looks better quality, heavier duty, although I don't know of there ever being a problem with these. Excuse me. Go ahead, keep rolling away. Go ahead. You're going to do it. All right, so that's a big difference that I can see right out of the gate with my stare and compare powers, right? Using my super stare and compare powers. The bolt springs. What can we say about these bolt springs? Well, they look. Go ahead, keep rolling. Go ahead, keep rolling, buddy. He doesn't want to cooperate. They look pretty much the same. Okay? And they're very greasy the same right now. Let's take out our calipers here. And let's just take a few readings. What do we want to do this in? Millimeters? Yeah, let's go with millimeters. All right. So the IntruBuster bolt spring is, make sure I don't compress it. It looks like it's about 60 millimeters. Maybe almost 61 millimeters. It's 60.78 millimeters, okay? 60.78. All right, that's the IntruBuster bolt spring. So we got 60. I'm not compressing it. Yeah, we're going to call it 60.80. Okay, that's the length of this. Okay, now the X68, the Pistelle X68, my guess is it's probably going to be the same. Eyeballing it sure looks like it. Let's try to get the outside coils. Yeah, it's 60.45, right? I mean, this ain't an exact. It's not going to be an exact. I think we're going to call them both 60 millimeters, really, because they're night. You know, I could be pushing on it a little bit. So they're both about the same length, 60 millimeters, okay? 60 millimeters. All right, while we have this one in the hand, let's take a look and see what, again, I think they're going to be the same, but let's see what the thickness. All right. So the Pistelle X-68 bolt spring, its thickness of the wire is 1.60 millimeters. We'll now change to 1.61. Let's call it 1.60 millimeters. Okay. The thickness of the IntruBuster Gen2, same thing, 1.62. So we'll call it 1.60. All right. So, yeah. So what do we have here? We have the spring, same spring. Okay. All right. So these are stock springs. I don't know. It's hard to tell, but my guess is they have about the same tension to them. Okay. So that's the bolt springs. Okay. Again, we noticed right out of the gate with our stare and compare powers, we noticed that we have an O-ring on the X68 bolt. We do not have an O-ring here. All right, next thing we're going to do, let's pull off what I'm calling the valve cap. Actually, let's wipe off a bunch of the silicone grease I put on it the other night. Let's get some of that off of there. All right. Let's pull off our valve cap, what I'm going to call the valve cap. And I think the buffer stuck to it. Yep. Okay. We have a bolt buffer. The cap with its internal O-ring. And its 021 O-ring there. Okay. And that's pretty much it here, huh? Let's take a look down inside. There's nothing down inside that bolt, that valve I should say. Well, bolt and valve combination. It's one piece. No O-rings in there. Nothing else that I can see. It looks like it's through and through the same dimension in there. Okay, so there's the IntruBuster Gen2. All right, let's take off the Pistelle's X68. Again, what I'm going to call the valve cap. And again, the bolt, or the buffer for the bolt, it also stuck on there. Again, you have the O-ring inside, the hidden one I replaced, and you have your 21 over here. It's hard to see this 21 because it's black, but I replaced that. Okay, so Pistelle side, Intra side. All right. likewise. Nothing else is inside there, right? It's all one piece. But again, big difference. The bolt tip's got that O-ring right there. Okay. Not sure how much it's doing. It's not really sticking out that much that I can tell, but some of us have theories on that O-ring, whether it's needed or not. I may be deleting it on my X-68 just for a test purpose to see if it helps relieve some other problems I'm having with it. We're going to find that out. Alright, staring and comparing, other than the material, and other than one having a groove in it for that O-ring and the other one not, the rest of the dimensions appear to be the same or very similar. They look to be the same length. We're going to determine that now with the micrometer here. The calipers, I mean. The micrometer is a different measuring device, but with these calipers, the IntruBuster Gen2 valve and bolt combination here appears to be about 82.23 millimeters long, if I have that straight. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Well, actually we're just gonna call it roughly. It's measuring a little less now, but we're gonna just call it 82 millimeters long. The Pistelle X-68 yeah, I'm gonna call it 80. You know, maybe they are identical. 81.66. I was just gonna call that 82, but that was 81.66. 81.62. So in all intents and purposes, they're the same length. Absolutely the same length. All right. This part here. Not sure what this part would be called, but it's part of the bolt and valve assembly here. That is 13.02 millimeters. Pistelle's is basically 13. So maybe a hair smaller than the IntruBuster. Okay. Now if we measure the part of the bolt here for thickness, we're at 17.18 millimeters. And for the IntruBuster, we're at 17.18 millimeters. Okay. The part that the sear catches on the IntruBuster is 8.10 millimeters, and on the X-68, 8.05 millimeters. So pretty much the same, right? All right, what else can we measure here? That's probably it, right? Can we measure the thickness maybe in here? The thickness of the bolt wall on the Pistelle bolt is 3.09 millimeters. The thickness of the IntruBuster, the wall of the bolt, is 3.18 millimeters. Again, 3.18, 3.2019 now, this one's actually wider, thicker. 3.20. Oh, now you're reading differently. Okay. 3.20. All right, so they're the same. It's probably just me and this wonky caliper here. What about the thickness here? 0.77 millimeter. 0.69 millimeter. Did I do this dimension? Inside the groove where the sear catches the bolt, we have 21.03 on the Pistelle bolt. And we have on the Instabolt 2100. Yeah, 2100, pretty much. 21.02 millimeters. Yeah, so I would say the springs are identical, other than the fact that this spring obviously could be less tension maybe on it because it's original to my Pistelle, and it's got quite a few more rounds through it than this one here. It's only got maybe 3-4 mags, 18 to 22 rounds through it. But essentially these look to be identical, besides the fact, and it is an important fact, observation I should say, that this one has a groove in it for the O-ring, and for whatever reason they decided here it's not needed anymore. Maybe that's why it's so much louder too. I bet you it plays into the sound a lot, because I noticed that this IntruBuster Gen 2, granted it's got a shorter barrel than my Pistelle has right now on it. My Pistelle's running an aluminum 12-inch barrel, 685 barrel. I've noticed that this thing is so much louder. I have to start wearing ear protection. My ears were ringing the first day I shot the IntruBuster, and I was like, of course where I shoot, you guys have seen it, it's kind of a tight little area or so in the basement, so it does kind of echo. It's like an echo chamber in there, but literally my ears were ringing, and as loud as the Pistelle is, I don't think it ever made my ears ring. So I would say that not having an O-ring here on the tip of the bolt definitely probably plays into the fact on why this is so loud. It probably plays into the fact that why it's so powerful as well for a stock short barrel that it has. Another reason why I'm going to remove this O-ring and see if it helps at all. It may not help. I don't know. We'll see. I know it ain't going to hurt anything. At least I'm pretty sure it's not going to hurt a darn thing, because if it was, they wouldn't have deleted it here. Because you can see this is basically the same technology completely. Okay, now, so other than the milling for an O-ring and the O-ring here, they're the same. Okay, I could weigh them. That might be a fun exercise to do next, although it probably won't come out on the camera, but I can tell you what they weigh. Why not, right? Because someone's probably going to ask, hey, what the hell do they weigh? Let's find out. Why not? We're going this far. Let's see. All right, looks like it's zeroed up, but let me hit the button anyways. So let's start off with the IntruBuster Gen 2's bolt. Let's see what it weighs. This is without any of the other components. It weighs 68.59 grams. And the Pistelle's bolt, 68.04 grams. So 68.04 for the X-68 bolt, and 68.60. Okay, 68.0 grams. 68.0. Now it's reading 68.0 grams. Oh. All right, Alan, don't touch the table. Yeah, 68.0. 68.0. I swear everything's screwing with me. Everything's screwing with me these days. 68.61. It's saying 68.61 grams. Could have sworn it was just saying 68. And now this one's saying 68.04. But there you go, okay? There you go. I don't think we need to measure the other stuff. The other stuff's pretty lightweight. That's a trip. All right, so there we go. We measured we weighed the bolts. Okay, so again, they are comparable in almost every way, but one feature really. The valve cap. Okay, again, what I'm calling the valve cap. Are they the same size? All right, so the valve cap on the IntruBuster Gen 2 is 22.47 millimeters. The valve cap on the Pistelle X-68 is 22.38 millimeters. 22.38 millimeters. So 22.38, 22.46 now. All intents and purposes, same thing. They are the same thing. Okay, I don't know if there's anything else worth measuring here. But there you are, folks. I mean, that's the measurements, and that's the weight. And yeah, you stay there. Stop rolling. And yeah, so our difference is this right here. O-ring, no O-ring. Right? For the sealing, no sealing. Okay? Loud, less loud. Now, the extra air pressure that's coming out of here, but not coming out of this one as quickly, I'm wondering if that, you know, that maybe that might help my situation with my mag drop, with that extra pressure going down the well. That's another reason why I wanted to take this apart and think about this. I know I'm being overly hopeful, but I've been wrestling with this problem for a while, and I want to fix it. And maybe this can help. And if you obviously don't need it there, then why not? Again, I really think that's one reason why this gun's so loud. So, you know, there may be pros and cons to removing this. You know, a con might be is that the Pistelle becomes louder. But if it helps alleviate some extra pressures within the gun coming down that magazine well, if it does, and that's a big if, you know, I'm not getting my hopes up too high on that. But anyways, I don't need to go down that rabbit trail with you guys. But really, this is mostly, you know, serving as a stare and compare, so that for those who are curious, this is what we have. Okay, so I'm going to cut the video there because you probably don't need to see me put it back in the guns. And we'll keep the video a little short. But there you have it, guys. This is your stare and compare difference between the IntruBuster Gen 2's valve and bolt assembly and the beloved Pistelle X-68 valve and bolt assembly. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this has been educational and a valuable time spent, I hope. Peace out.